Welcome to the GSMC Pets Podcast, the show that caters to pet lovers of all kinds. We'll talk about pets on social media, pets doing amazing things, and how to take care of the pets in your life. Whether your pet is a dog, a cat, a llama, hamster, reptile, or something more exotic, you'll find educational and entertaining information on the GSMC Pets Podcast.
Hey folks, we are back with another edition of the GSMC Pet Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Taylor Cowan. Folks, today we're talking about the extremely rich and their pets, rich people pets, and the exorbitant inheritances these pets get. We're going to start with like a top 10 list. And then we'll talk about some other stuff later on as well. But for now, let's dive right in here with number 10 on our list of the best pet inheritances. More than I suspect most of us will get. The thing about being rich is that you have a lot of money, and people with a lot of money give it to their animals for some reason. I'm going to tell my dog right now, no inheritance. Sorry. My dog will probably die far before I do. And I don't know, get sent to an orphanage or something. Sorry, Ozzy. But that's just how it is. I'll make sure you're well taken care of. Don't worry. You'll be handed off to a nice old lady next door, something like that. We'll see. We'll see what we can do, but you're not getting what these pets are getting. I'm telling you that right now. Let's see. Let me adjust my microphone real quick. And we'll do number 10. Number 10 on the list of best pet inheritances is Bubbles, the chimpanzee. This is Michael Jackson's chimpanzee. You may remember seeing him on the videos waltzing around Michael Jackson's mansion in a diaper. Which Michael Jackson never changed. Michael Jackson never took care of the monkey. Michael Jackson just held its hand in front of a camera and daintily walked around the Neverland Ranch with it. He definitely had a team of caretakers, or I don't know where he kept the chimpanzee, honestly, if the chimpanzee had its own room in the house or what. Let's see what it says here. $2 million. Wow. Let's see here. Long before it became, I'm going to read what it says here on this website. Long before it became a reality, Jackson left his chimp Bubbles $2 million payable upon his death. Uh-oh, here we go. There's a disclaimer. However, fears that the chimp's increasing aggression might be a danger to Jackson's newborn son forced the preemptive relocation of Bubbles to an animal sanctuary, where he lives to this day. Which is probably a healthier environment than the life in the Jackson family anyways. Yeah, probably. Michael Jackson should have never had a chimp. I don't think the moonwalker, I don't know, did he teach it to dance at least? Could it dance? A danger to his newborn son. Yeah. The chimp was probably a danger to him. Michael Jackson's a frail little man. He can't handle it. Chimps can rip people's arms off. And they go for the eyes. So, good on you, Michael. $2 million. So, I'm guessing the chimp didn't get the $2 million? Is what's happening? Or did they just donate it to the animal sanctuary? Or did he have the sickest pen at the animal sanctuary? There's a bunch of tire swings and a giant sequoia or something. A redwood tree, specially implanted, shipped from the redwoods. Or some African tree or something. I don't know. What do chimps like? All I can think is tire swing and tree. Maybe a pool. He had like a jacuzzi or something. All right, $2 million for Michael Jackson's pet Bubbles, the chimpanzee. Let's see, number 9. This says unspecified number of dogs is the name of the pet. Let's see what this means. The owner is Majel Barrett Roddenberry. Oh, she's the widow of the creator of Star Trek. There we go. And she gave her unspecified number of dogs $4 million. Wow. Let's see. After dying in 2009 at the age of 76, the widow of Star Trek creator Gene, all we get, Gene, set up a $4 million trust for their dogs, plus an additional $1 million for a domestic employee to take care of them. Wow. I wish I was that employee. $1 million. That's more than, I think, a regular... Because, I mean, what? The dogs... you would think a dog caretaker would get, what, $30,000 a year at most? Unless you're at some super high-end... I don't know, unless you're taking care of 80 dogs. And then $1 million for the domestic employee. So, presumably, he got all that million once all the dogs died in 12 years. That's a sweet deal. That's basically, say the dogs live for 10 years after she dies. That's basically $100,000 a year to feed dogs. I don't make anything to feed my dog. And then $4 million for the dogs. What do they do with that? What did the dogs have to do with $4 million? There's only so many toys that they are just going to tear apart. I don't get it. Get a grooming session every day. All right, let's go to the next one. This is number 8. Gigu, the hen. The owner was Miles Blackwell. He left his hen $10 million. What? Blackwell and his wife had a track record of caring for animals, having established the Tubney Charitable Trust in 1997 to protect farm critters. After she died in 2001, the childless publishing magnate left Gigu 10 extra large, then died unexpectedly 3 weeks later at age 56. This has got to be some tax evasion stuff. There's something going on here. He died at age 56, unexpectedly, like mysteriously, I'm going to say. It doesn't say that on here. But $10 million to the hen, something's wrong there. I don't know what. I don't know who he owes money, or who he owes money. Did he owe the mafia money or something, and then just put that all in the hen? Can you leave $10 million to a hen? I thought the dogs was ridiculous, but you can't even... How many seeds can one hen eat? Ridiculous. Redonkulous. That's number 8, the $10 million hen. Gigu. Alright, we got number 7 here. Conchita, Lucia, and April Marie. So, Conchita's a Chihuahua. Lucia is a Yorkshire Terrier. And April Marie is a Maltese. Owner Gail Posner, $11 million for the 3 dogs. A lawsuit filed by Posner's estranged son alleges he was unduly influenced by house waitstaff when she bestowed $3 million in trust funds and her $8 million mansion to her 3 dogs, who presently ride to the pet spa each week in a gold Escalade. Lending the lawsuit merit is the $27 million the staff also received after Posner's death in 2010. That's interesting. So the staff at the hotel, or not the hotel, at her mansion, the son is claiming that they were tricked her into, he might be right. $27 million to the staff. Well, how much staff was there? Probably like 10 people. How many staff do you need to take care of one person? Frankly, you get 1 staff per person, I'm going to say. You shouldn't need more than one person to take care of you. I don't care how rich you are, how much money you have. You get one staff member per family member, and that's pushing it a bit, huh? Wow. $11 million. And that's just for the dogs. And then they ride in a gold Escalade to the pet spa each week. Give me a break. Wow. We're almost halfway through this list. We're not even halfway through this list. So we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back. We're going to talk about more pet inheritance money and what the rich can do, what the super wealthy get to do with their inheritances. Not going to you, not going to me. No, we haven't earned it like these loving pets have. All right, I'll talk to you in a second.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
All right, friends, we're still talking about rich people's pets and their stupid inheritances. We're on number 6 now. This is a pet named Trouble. She sure looks like trouble. A little leather vest and pink, what do you call those, tutus? Looks like she cut a loofah in half and taped it to her dog's butt. The owner here is Leona Helmsley. And she left her dog $12 million. Let's see what it says. Upon her death in 2007, the real estate mogul left Trouble more than she did 2 of her grandchildren, whom she deliberately left out of her will entirely. They're probably bad kids. She specifically said, no, you don't get anything. Trouble gets it all. This ugly little dog that's going to be dead in a week. But even after death threats issued against the pup required adding a security guard to her list of expenses, a judge, who was clearly ignorant of the cost of a good groomer these days, determined that she could get by on $2 million. $6 million were given to the 2 grandkids, and the rest went to charity. You know, I'm against giving your dog $12 million, but I don't think it's shouldn't be up to the state to decide who gets your dog's money. $6 million. She deliberately left the grandkids out. I don't think the grandkids deserve anything. And I don't know. I think Trouble deserves all $12 million. She needs more to buy little leather bows. Let's skip to number 5 here. We got a cat, Blackie. Sounds kind of racist. The owner is Ben Ray. He left Blackie $12.5 million. Fiercely reclusive British antique dealer Ben Ray would have died in relative obscurity in 1988 had he not endowed almost his entire estate to Blackie, the lone remaining feline from a group of 15, along with the 3 cat charities. Well, there you have it, Blackie. Good for you. I don't see what a cat could do with $12.5 million and the entire estate. So does it just fall to shambles and the cat lives there alone, roams the property with the door open? Let's see. Number 4 is another cat, Tommaso. Oh. Owner is Maria Assunta. She left Tommaso $13 million. The childless widow of an Italian real estate investor. Oh, childless widow, no wonder. She left her cat $13 million. Sounds like something a cat lady would do. Assunta received 4-year-old stray Tommaso from the streets of Rome. When her health began to decline, Assunta sought an organization that could see to Tommaso's care after her passing. When that proved fruitless, she simply transferred her $13 million total net worth to the newly minted Meowinaire. Someone shouldn't have tried to combine those 2 words. That was a dumb idea. Upon her death in 2011. So, rescued the cat from the streets of Rome. She couldn't find an organization that could see to the cat's care after her passing. She couldn't find anyone who would take $13 million to take care of the cat. Really? I find that hard to believe. I think she's just lazy. She called one place and they said no, and so she... What's a cat do with $13 million? That's prime for corruption for whoever's taking care of the cat. Whoever takes care of the cat is getting $12.9 million of those dollars. All right, we're getting close to the number 1 here. Number 3, our pets Luke and Layla, the golden retrievers, Sadie, the cocker spaniel, and Sonny and Lauren, Springer spaniels. Yeah, I don't know the difference between a Springer and a cocker, but probably the same. Oh, it's Oprah's pets. Oprah Winfrey, another going to be childless widow. Oprah left her dogs $30 million. So we've jumped right from 13 to 30 million. The billionaire TV bastion was once quoted as saying that if her home were to catch fire, the one personal possession she would grab is a photo album of her 5 dogs. Should such an attempt end in tragedy, at least they'll be cared for, with a sizable portion of her estate set aside as a trust reserve just for them. $30 million for her dogs, who look kind of old. I think they'll probably outlive her, so... And, Oprah, give it to charity. Come on. I thought that was your thing. I thought you were a charitable person. Buy everyone a car like you did on the TV. Don't leave $30 million to your dogs. She needs an orphan or something. She should adopt an orphan. Let's get to number 2. The pet is Kalu, the chimpanzee. Owner Patricia O'Neill. Oh, I thought that was going to be Patrice O'Neill. He's one of my favorite comedians, but no, this is Patricia O'Neill. The chimp's getting $70 million. So presumably he can waltz around in a top hat with a cane and riding the back of a Rolls Royce, throwing fruits at people. The daughter of British Countess and ex-wife of Olympic medalist Frank O'Neill added her beloved pet chimp to her will, reportedly while he was away at the Sydney Games. Yeah, of course he was not there to see her secretly write that in. A collection of over 40 animals, headlined by Kalu, stood to inherit O'Neill's Cape Town estate until it was revealed in 2010 that a crooked financial advisor had allegedly siphoned the socialite's fortune down to almost nothing. Oh no, does that mean the chimp doesn't get $70 million? How will he ever go on? He's got his middle finger in his mouth in this picture, and he's got like this cheeky grin on. Looks like a $70 million chimp. Not a care in the world. And finally, number one pet inheritance, Gunther III, the German Shepherd, owner Carlotta Liebenstein. He is getting an $80 million inheritance. Left an inheritance in 1992 that, thanks to investments, ballooned to as much as $372 million. Gunther III sired offspring Gunther IV, who was listed as the buyer of Madonna's Miami mansion in 2000. So the dog bought the mansion? All this is starting to seem made up, like a kid's movie. The sale was part of a publicity stunt involving a European pop group. Okay, here we go. It is like a kid's movie. Leading many to question the credibility of certain parts of the story, from whether or not Gunther IV is actually the son of Gunther III, to whether the German Countess even existed in the first place. Sounds like a Disney Channel show. Some pop group's dog buys a house and they live, and the dog's the master of the house. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I can't afford to go to the dentist. So there's that. Folks, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be back. We're going to talk about the world's ugliest dogs coming up next. So very exciting. Stick around. Talk to you in just a second.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, my friends, we're back. We were just talking about pet inheritances, the top pet inheritances ever, and how ridiculous they all are. Let's talk a little bit about the world's ugliest dogs. They have a festival every year in California, somewhere in California. Where does it say it is, if you ever want to go? At the Sonoma Marin Fairgrounds in California every June. So if you got an ugly dog, you're going to want to head out there, because this is probably the best your dog's going to have to offer. I'm looking at some of these things. They are hideous. I'll post a couple of pictures of them on the Twitter so you can actually see. I'll post the ugliest ones. Some of these aren't ugly. Once you get down earlier, or to the lower numbers, the less uglies, they're not that bad. There's a Pabst, the 2009 winner Pabst. He's just got a big underbite. Kind of looks like a Simpsons character or something. Let's see what else we got here. My favorite is Quasimodo. He looks like a giraffe without a neck. He's got these really long front legs and really short back legs. And there's something wrong with this dog. I don't even think it could run. It doesn't look like it has knees. What a terror. That's the 2005 winner. Look up Quasimodo, the 2015 winner of the ugliest dog competition. I'm surprised he's just number 6 on this list I'm looking at, because he's a beauty. That's a beautiful creature. I wouldn't want to hold it or touch it or pet it, but I would want to gawk at it from afar. What do we got here? Gus, the 2008 winner, missing an eye and a leg, and nearly hairless. Ew. This dog should not exist. This dog should have been put down. I'm going to say it here first. I don't know if that's appropriate to say on the pet podcast, but yes. Some dogs need to be put down, put out of their misery, and Gus looks like one of them. His mouth's all hanging open. He looks like he's probably struggling to breathe. What do we got here? Archie. Ooh. Geez, Archie, I can't tell who's uglier, you or your owner. This is the 2006 winner. And this is, I don't know what breed of dog this is. There's a few that are of this ilk. Sweepy Rambo being one of them, the 2016 winner. Why has it got a diaper on? Why has he got to wear a diaper? He doesn't look like he knows how to go outside. I'm going to be honest. This is another one that probably should have been put down. And then he's just got like a tuft of hair on top. It looks more like a rat that you'd find in a chemical factory. Ugh. And then we got Peanut here. Peanut looks like a drunk Liza Minnelli. And he's got these giant teeth that are just sticking out. Oh, Peanut, winner 2014. I'm going to say this is number 1. This is my number 1 so far. It is number 2 on the list, so this is the 2014 winner. Peanut. It looks like it's got an eye infection too. It looks like it has pink eye. And then the number 1 here, we have Sam, who is the winner from 2003 to 2005. This is a 2-year winner, and it looks like, if you've ever seen Gremlins, where they put that one gremlin in the microwave. That's what Sam looks like. He's eating his foot. He's chewing on his own foot. He is all wrinkled. It's kind of scary. I would be more scared of this dog, encountering this dog, than I would be like a big, angry German Shepherd or something. Or, yeah, like I'd be more scared of this dog than a dog that was guarding a concentration camp or something. This is the scariest dog I've ever seen in my life. This is the one I'll post on the Twitter, Sam, because his teeth are all apart, and they seem to have, I'm looking at all these dogs, they seem to have worse teeth than even your average dog. Like, typically, they either have no teeth, and their tongue just flops out of their mouth like a sucker, or their teeth are like yellowed and apart, and they look like they've done too many drugs in their day and never recovered. Sam seriously looks like the scariest homeless person you've ever seen. Is never getting out of it, never getting off the street. Sam, I'm surprised someone, if they paid money for Sam, they should ask for a refund, because Sam is a horrifying monster, and it doesn't even look enjoyable to pet. Not only does it not look enjoyable to pet, it doesn't look enjoyable to have in the room with you. Sam, I'm sorry, Sam. I'm trying to see any sort of bright side to having an animal like you, but I can't. I would not let you around my children. I certainly wouldn't take you on a walk. I'd be embarrassed to take you on a walk, because people would look over and wonder what I was doing. People would think, if I saw this pet and someone was walking it, I would assume they had mistreated it horribly. I'd probably call animal control and be like, hey, you guys gotta come pick this up. It's on this street and this street, so-and-so, and you gotta come take care of this. This animal's been viciously abused. But no, it just looks like that. The way it's chewing its back foot in this picture, I can't wait to put this on the Twitter. Oh man, what a horrible, horrible beast. That segment went a little faster than I was expecting. So we'll be back in just a minute. We'll probably talk about some more ugly dogs. And we're going to talk about pets that aren't, what do you call them? Emotional support animals. We're going to talk about emotional support animals and which pets don't count as emotional support animals. So stick around. We'll talk to you in just a second.
Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
And we're back, my friends. We just went over the world's ugliest dogs. I cut that segment a little short because you can't see the pictures. You know, this is an audio-only podcast, and you want to be able to see the pictures of these horrible monsters. So I'll post a couple on the Twitter, and we'll hope for the best. And hopefully you see them. Let's talk about emotional support pets, my friends. It's gone too far. The whole emotional support animal thing, I get it. You know, I get it if it's like a dog or a cat or, I don't know, a traditional pet, but I think you're full of it when you tell me that your snake is an emotional support animal or something else ridiculous. The reason I bring this up is that there's an article I saw several months ago. It's been a while now, but it was a lady who was mad that she couldn't get her peacock onto a plane. And she, said it was her emotional support peacock. The peacock doesn't give you any emotional support, let's be honest. Let's just be straight up and true, because I'm tired of it. So I'm looking at a list here of some other emotional support pets. This lady has a bonnet macaque. I think that's how you pronounce that. It's a type of monkey. So it says here, Debbie Rose from Missouri suffers from agoraphobia, the fear of places and situations that causes panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. She brings her monkey everywhere and will even drive with him in the front seat. Okay, so you're afraid of places and situations. How does a monkey help that? A monkey's going to cause more awkwardness and trouble in a place or situation. I kind of think she just wants attention. And, maybe this is offensive to some, but yeah, your pet monkey, panic, helplessness, and embarrassment is what she feels in places and situations. And so she brings a monkey into the mix? That seems like the wrong move. What else we got here? Miniature horses. These tiny tots have been approved as a legal service animal under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Well, that's fine, I guess. Good thing, because not everyone feels comfortable around service dogs. Oh, really? People don't feel comfortable around the silent dog that won't even look you in the eyes. Just sits in the corner. But what's so scary about teeny tiny horses? I don't know. I think the horse is a little scarier, this small horse. There's a guy sitting on a plane with it, and it looks very uncomfortable. His poor wife, seems miserable. Her legs are pushed to the side. And the horse doesn't want to be on a plane. Don't take a horse on a plane. It is a mini horse, but still, you can't see the picture, but you can imagine putting a horse where your knees are when you're sitting on a plane. Let's see what else here. Squirrels. Oh, of course, squirrels. Believe it or not, some people have registered these critters as emotional support animals. They just have no rules at the emotional support animal office, I'm guessing. It's just a case-by-case basis, and whatever you send them goes. I can send an alligator, and that's an emotional support animal, I guess. One woman tried to bring a service squirrel on a plane after specifying that she would be accompanied by a service animal, but that didn't fly with the airline company. Yeah. Good. I don't want a squirrel on my plane. Is it going to be in a cage? And I don't get how that's emotional support either. They don't even have pupils. They have dead black eyes. They're just rats with a big fluffy tail, really. If you've ever been to a big city like DC or New York, you know that once the sun sets, the squirrels, they crawl up into the trees and they transform into rats. And then they come down, and then there's a bunch of rats on the ground. Those are just facts. So yeah, squirrels, not an emotional support animal, in my opinion. Turkeys, oh, good. These therapeutic birds, yeah, therapeutic. It's one word to describe them. These therapeutic birds are allowed to fly in a purchased airline seat with their handler under the Air Carrier Access Act. Normally, Delta doesn't allow certain animals in the cabin, but this turkey got VIP access. Is that right? So you have to buy the turkey a ticket? I don't understand what the purpose of that would be. Why you have to... This one doesn't even seem like a service animal. It just seems like a guy loves his turkey and he's pushing it around in a wheelchair. Wow. All right, the Air Carrier Access Act. I wonder what else is allowed via that. All right, oh, we got another monkey. The capuchin monkey. Oh, this is the monkey from the movie what? There's an organization called Helping Hands Monkey Helpers, which trains capuchin monkeys to be the hands for people suffering from spinal injuries and mobility impairments. Oh my goodness, there's a movie, I talked about it several weeks ago, called Monkey Shine, and it's about one of these monkeys, but then the owner, the guy with the spinal injury, he develops a telepathic connection with the monkey and can send the monkey off to do his evil bidding. But I didn't realize this was a real thing. That's fun. So I'm pro this one. That's kind of cool. It turns on the lights for you and stuff. I actually want one of these. I don't have a spinal injury. I can use my arms perfectly well, but why should I if I can have a monkey slave to do it for me? All right, what do we got here? What's next? Goats. Loud, obnoxious. This goat's all dressed up. Looks like it's dyed purple or something. What might seem like the perfect farm animal to some is the perfect pet for others. Oh, is that right? Former President Abraham Lincoln had 2 goats, Nanny and Nanko, as pets. Nonetheless, the Delta Society trains your goats to help complete tasks. Well, there's that. That one's not as interesting. And I don't know, goats are like dogs with horns, so I'm okay with that one. Kangaroos. Okay. American Airlines has had not 1 but 2 emotional support kangaroos board their planes. One kangaroo sat in their own first-class seat. That does sound something like... All of this is stuff that exorbitantly rich people do, who I think want attention. While the others spent the flight curled up on the lap of their owner. You buy your kangaroo a first-class seat. You just want to walk around with the kangaroo and show everyone how ridiculous and wealthy you are. Because kangaroos don't make good pets. You know how big they get? They'll kick you in the chest. There was a store I used to go to in a city that's near me, and they had a baby kangaroo in the store. It was like an Australian store. They sold didgeridoos and other ridiculous Australian stuff. And they had to get rid of it. Because, guess why? Because it was a kangaroo. And they grow to be giant, and they box you. They literally box you. What do we got? What's next? The duck, of course. Airlines have granted passage to 1 emotional support duck. That's probably was annoying for everyone else on the plane. One person's emotional support animal is everyone else on the plane's nightmare. Can you imagine being on a plane and there's just a duck quacking incessantly? Ugh. Daniel Turducken Stinkerbutt, oh my goodness, became internet famous when he flew for the first time with his owner, Carla Fitzgerald. See, Fitzgerald, that's a super wealthy person's name. The duck wore red booties and Captain America diaper on his flight from Charlotte to Asheville, North Carolina. At least it was a short flight. But her family's probably worried about her. She's probably bringing the duck. She's really bringing the duck. We should talk to her when she gets here. Anyways, we're taking another break. There's more emotional support madness coming up next. Lots to come. So stick around. I'll talk to you in a sec.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
friends. We are talking about emotional support animals and my subjective opinion on them. If you don't like it, don't be offended. Just yell at me privately. DM me. We just got done talking about ducks. Apparently the duck can be an emotional support animal. I don't know why you would want a duck as an emotional support animal. I've had ducks. They're not that cool. And they only want to see you when you have the seed. So coming up next is pigs. This one I understand. Halfway understand. I actually had a pig for a brief period of time and wasn't very emotionally supportive. I would feed it every day, and all it would do is run away from me. Granted, it was a stray pig, and I picked it up off the road. So who knows what former life it had. It was probably abused to some extent. The fact that it was just running down the street makes me feel like whoever owned it before didn't care for it much. But I can understand the pig as an emotional support animal. They're smart. If they can be trained. This one that I'm looking at a picture of, it's at an old folks' home, and it's got a piglet toy. So this one seems nice. What do we got here? Due to high intellect, pigs make great emotional support animals. Wilbur, an emotional support pet for the Halpern family, was nearly evicted from his Palm Beach, Florida home where livestock are banned as pets. He embarked on a 10-month legal battle, and thankfully he won. That poor landlord just doesn't want a pig in its house. But I get it. I get the pig. But still, with the planes, you can't take it on a plane. Sorry. Even emotional support dog, that's the only thing I can see on a plane being okay. But like a cat, what if someone's got allergies? Just because you need an emotional support animal, I don't feel like that gives you the right to bother everyone else around you. But whatever, you got the paper. Turtles. Wow, what an amazing... I can't imagine how emotionally supportive a turtle would be. Sits there on a rock in the hot sun, doesn't do anything, eats a leaf. All right. Several flight attendants have reported seeing support turtles on their flights. One even recounted a time where she found an emotional support turtle suctioned to the airplane window so they had a better view. Is that right? That's what the turtle was doing. It was trying to get a view of the beautiful sky, wishing it could fly like a bird. Turtles don't feel those kinds of emotions, people. And I'm going to be honest, unless you got a leaf in your hand or like a piece of a mango or something, turtle doesn't care about you either. It likes you as much as you can feed it. Turtles are like pets for science-y guys and biologists who want to come, and when you come over to their house, they just tell you about it. They're not emotional anything. What's next? Hedgehog. One woman, 21-year-old Jennifer Goldberg, said she brought her emotional support hedgehog to many stressful situations, like, of course, flying. Delta made an exception for the roly-poly little guy. All right, so does she bring it to work meetings? Does she bring it to job interviews? And, I mean, flying, I don't think flying is that stressful. I actually kind of enjoy it. But some people don't like it, so I understand flying. But, the types who need emotional support animals, I feel like every situation is stressful for them, so they just have to bring their animal everywhere. If I'm hiring for a job and you come in with your hedgehog and say, oh, I take him everywhere, he's my emotional support, I can't do anything without him, you're not getting hired. And I better not get a claim from the government saying that I discriminated against you because of your hedgehog, because I can't hire someone who needs to carry a hedgehog around all the time. Sorry. 12. Oh, we got the peacock. The peacock I was talking about. A woman in Brooklyn swears by the healing properties of her emotional support peacock. Wow. What a load of BS. They were traveling to Los Angeles when the TSA stopped them and barred them from the flight after a 6-hour delay. They drove across the country instead. Good. A peacock on a plane, where do you put it? Takes up 3 aisles. You don't buy it a seat, you just show up and like, well, if only you knew of its healing properties. It's not an elixir. You can't take its blood and turn it into some sort of potion. This one's triggering me. The peacock. Because I imagine the lady who's taking this thing to the airport with her, I imagine her wearing some big, like a full leopard suit. She probably looks like Carol Baskins. If you've watched Tiger King on Netflix, which apparently everyone in the world has, I imagine the peacock lady looks like Carol Baskins. And I bet she's insufferable. I bet she thinks she has the spirit of a peacock in her. She probably met a half Native American once, and the guy was like, yeah, you're definitely a peacock. Alright, next. The parrot. These tropical birds became more and more common thanks to an organization called Parrots for Patriots, which paired the brightly feathered creatures with former military members. That's fun. And then, military members always end up in Costa Rica or something anyways, like expats. They always end up in some tropical place when they retire. So I feel like a parrot would be good for them. This one's got a baby carriage for its parrot. That one seems fine. It can talk. A parrot can talk to you, so that seems more emotionally supportive than, say, a peacock. That just is more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Ego boost. Parrot I get. And parrots are beautiful, and they live for like 80 years, so I could see how that one's a little more emotionally supportive. The sugar glider. I can't even believe this is on the list. I had a friend who had sugar gliders. They stink. They are messy. They're not friendly. What's this say about it? What's more comforting than a small squirrel rat jumping off your dresser and flying through the air to comfort you? Anything is more comforting than that. In 2018, a Colorado State University student studying clinical psychology went about her day on campus with her service sugar glider. See, okay, again, this is just a dumb excuse for a college student to carry her pet around. It's not emotionally supporting her. And this is a psychology? She's studying clinical psychology. She should not be telling anyone who, what they need to do to be healthier mentally. If you can't go to school without your sugar glider in your pocket, you shouldn't be teaching psychology. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be focusing on people's mental health. You should be focusing on your own mental health. Sugar glider. Ridiculous. Oh, the goldfish. Yeah, everyone knows the goldfish is the most supportive animal. Stares at you from a filthy bowl you can't even see through. Let's see. Although it may seem like they can't provide any services for someone, seems like it just seems like that. Their presence can be extremely calming for some people. Republican strategist Anna Navarro reported that while on flight out of Albany, airport officials announced someone was trying to bring an emotional support goldfish through security. Okay, that was a dumb anecdote. Someone announced that someone may have been trying to bring on a goldfish. Goldfish is not an emotional support animal. It is a pet you win at a carnival that dies in a week. We're going to take a quick break. There's some more animals coming up next, and we'll finish things off. Talk to you in just a moment.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
We're back, my friends. This is the final segment. We're still going to be talking about emotional support animals and which ones don't really count, which is most of them, frankly. We just talked about goldfish. I don't know whose emotions that's supporting. If anything, goldfish are more of an emotional distressor. They die, you gotta flush them down the toilet, you gotta tell the kids. You don't want to deal with that. Anyways, let's move on. Next is the llama. They are great support animals for people of all ages. Oh, really? In 2015, several emotional support llamas got loose at a senior citizen center where they'd been working for the day. All of them were caught, and they continued to provide comfort for the elderly. They got loose? See, that's right there. Just tells me that it's not an appropriate emotional support animal if it can get loose and just run wild. A service animals and emotional support animals are supposed to be chill, and they're supposed to, you're not allowed to touch them when someone else has them. So, yeah, I don't see the llama as being very comforting. And look, it's bucking around. I'm looking at a GIF, and it escapes this guy's hands, and it's kicking around, and you don't want that in a senior center. That's dangerous. Cats is on this list. I'm okay with cats. I think cats make a great emotional support animals, as long as you keep them in your house. Let's see. Let's skip over cats because they're good on the list. Hamster. Pebbles, the support hamster, probably provided more anxiety for their owner when on board a Sprint Airlines flight. Her owner claimed the people working for Sprint told her that Pebbles would have to be flushed down a toilet. Wow. That's kind of vicious on the flight attendant's part. Flush down a toilet. Well, first of all, you don't bring... A hamster is basically a version of a rat, right? I don't see the difference. It's a mouse, which is the cousin of the rat. And again, I don't see that as helping people's emotions. I feel like that's a cover-up for something else that's going on. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hamsters don't make good support animals. Oh, geez. And the snake, of course. Oh boy, can you imagine sitting next to a snake on a long flight? That would take the movie Snakes on a Plane to a whole new level, blah, blah, blah. But yes, some people do have emotional support snakes they take to stressful situations. Oh man. Oh, I can't imagine being around that person. They probably always have it around their neck. Oh. A snake is not an emotional support animal. Snakes are scary and awful. And they are not supporting anyone. And again, just because you think you need an emotional support snake, I don't think that gives you the right to bring it to, a work meeting and bother me. If I'm sitting next to you and you got a snake around your neck and it's eking its head over towards me and resting it on my shoulder, I don't want that. That's terrible. That's terrible for you to do that to someone else. People don't like snakes. The average person isn't a snake person. Historically, snakes play the villain in everything, and there's a good reason for that. And if you have one as an emotional support animal, you've gone wrong. There's some evilness going on. Let's go to the next one. Bearded dragons, another lizard, another dead-eyed reptile that, again, this person has a badge for theirs. Megan Curran had an emotional support bearded dragon. The young girl was badly bullied in high school and found that her pet chief helped curb her anxiety and depression. Okay, well, then I feel bad. But a dog couldn't have done that? You had to be a bearded dragon? And again, sorry, Megan. I get that, high school's tough. but now you just carry your lizard around and show it to everyone so you have something to talk about. I get, like, you have social anxiety, but you gotta, talk about what book you're reading or something, or what your favorite TV show. Don't pull out your bearded dragon and be like, I have to take this everywhere I go. Aren't I quirky? It just seems off. It just seems off. And that seems like the end of that list. So, again, folks, cats, dogs, fine. Pigs, okay. The horse, maybe. The mini horse, as long as you're not taking it on a plane with you. The capuchin monkey, I'm totally down with. And this, the capuchin monkey is not even really a emotional support animal. It's more of a actual support animal, because this guy can't use his arms. However, now he has a monkey that has to stand on his head, which seems like it would get a little ridiculous. Can the monkey use the bathroom? Can it use the toilet? Because he obviously can't change it, so... what if the monkey loses control and he's just stuck in his wheelchair and the monkey's throwing glass at him or something? I could see that going south. But other than that, all of these animals on this list, I don't think should qualify as emotional support animals. And just because you have a badge that says it's your emotional support animal, I work at a restaurant. Just because you have a badge that says it's your emotional support animal doesn't mean you should bring your animal to a restaurant. I have people try and bring dogs in all the time. We're not allowed to really say anything. But some of their dogs are untrained. They're not all service dogs. Emotional support animals, they don't have to be trained. They just have to have a badge that you print off online, or, you talk to a doctor and say, hey, I need this. And then the doctor's like, all right, get out of my office. Here's your prescription for a sugar glider. Don't bring it into a restaurant. I'm sorry. Just don't. It bothers everyone else. It's hair gets out. It's all bad. It's all wrong. Folks, we're pretty much at the end of today's podcast. Thanks for tuning in. As always, head over to our Twitter page, GSMC Pet Podcast Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on the big three. As always, I say it every week. And, thanks for tuning in. Remember to leave us 5 stars. If whatever platform you're listening on, whether it be iTunes Music or Spotify, leave us a good 5-star review. That helps us out so much. It's going to get us really, really into gear, get us going, so we get a lot more viewers and listeners. Again, thank you from the GSMC Pet Podcast and the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Taylor Cowan. I like you more than a friend. Have a good night.
You've been listening to the GSMC Pets Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's podcast.